Hello and welcome to There's No Business Like, a podcast where friends and industry colleagues explore topics and interview leaders in our industry of professional theatrical touring.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to There's No Business Like. I'm Katie Miller with Michigan Maven Creative Associates, and I am here at our New Year's Eve celebration with my friends, Kevin
Maynard coming at you from Tallahassee with opening nights at Florida State University.
And Josh
Benson rocking it out in Marion, Illinois at the Marion Cultural and Civic Center.
And Brian
Zelmer from Bardavon Presents in Poughkeepsie, New York.
And my favorite gal pal, Danielle.
Whoop whoop. Hey, it's Danielle Van Hook from the Alden and McLean, Virginia.
So welcome everyone to the show. Today is New Year's Eve, so we are saying goodbye to 2025 and hello to 2026. So we are going to take a little bit of time today to reflect on the last year and look forward to next year before we all put on our pajamas and climb into bed at 9 p.m. and turn on New Year's Rockin' Eve. Is that still a thing? And go to sleep before the ball drops because we're all old and it's cold outside.
Speak for yourself.
I always stay up. I stay up even at my ripe age.
Same.
You stay up, Brian? Really?
Every year. I've never gone to bed before midnight on New Year's Eve.
Same.
Oh, I am impressed. Danielle, what about you?
So this year I probably will because we'll be with family. But yeah, the last couple of years, one, it's hard to drink and then wake up even a little bit hungover with kids in the house that get up at 6 a.m. I find it even harder to stay up until midnight and then be expected to also wake up. So I have started going to bed before midnight for self-preservation purposes.
Smart.
Yeah, smart. Very respectable.
Loser.
Very respectable. Kevin, do you stay up till midnight?
Hit or miss. I mean, typically I do. Sometimes I don't. I don't know if I did the last couple of years. So I think this year I've got plans. So I'll definitely be up.
Josh?
Yes, always.
I'm not sure Josh has been to bed before midnight on most days. So.
Yeah, that's just Tuesday.
That is accurate.
Yeah, that's just a typical Tuesday for Josh.
Growing up in New York, New Year's Eve is very a New York centric kind of holiday. And so that's been my whole life growing up. And then when I moved to Colorado, it was really a strange experience to watch the New York celebration and the countdown at 10 p.m. there, local time. So that kind of changed my perspective because I don't know why up until then, I just figured midnight New York time, that was New Year's Eve.
Right.
There was one year that this local radio show, because they're older, they did a Happy Noon Year. And that was my favorite because it was basically just like day drinking. And then I took a nap and
that sounds fun.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I love that. That sounds great. The last time I probably stayed up till midnight for New Year's was when we still lived in Traverse City. They have a huge party in downtown TC, and they put a gigantic crystal cherry on a crane and hang it up over downtown. And then the cherry drops, just like the crystal ball in New York. And so it's a super fun party, and you freeze your butt off because it's so cold, but that is a really good time. So if you're looking for a good party, Traverse City, Michigan is where it's at on New Year's Eve. Just saying, friends.
Tops all the big lists.
We do want to take a few minutes just to reflect on the last year and look forward to 2026 because that is what you do on New Year's Eve. So I have a couple of questions for y'all. We're going to get philosophical and reflective for just a moment. What's an artistic moment from the last year that has stuck with you? Large, small, personal, professional? What's just an artistic moment that you've had or experienced that has really stuck with you from this last year?
I always say the hardest thing to do in this industry, at least in this position, is looking backwards, even if it was yesterday. So I'm going to need to think about that one.
Yeah, I feel like I know the answer to this question, but it's somehow eluding me right now.
It feels like this year has been 20 years all smashed into one, doesn't it? Oh, Danielle.
I saw Oh Mary on Broadway. That was this year.
Hey.
And I don't know that I've ever been happier.
What was it about seeing Oh Mary, Danielle, that stuck with you?
Honestly, it was Titus. I saw Titus Burgess as Mary. It was just everything I wanted it to be. I mean, it was just an hour and a half, something like that, of just nonstop, just joy and inappropriateness, and just people around me laughing so hard that they were doing that thing where you can almost not catch a breath. And it just never stopped. I mean, it was just thing after thing after thing after thing. And then there was I guess if I thought about it for 0.2 seconds, a twist, but I didn't exactly see coming. that just like was so fun. Like just made me so glad that like there are modern plays being written that reflect modern times and like things that we currently think are funny from different viewpoints that don't necessarily always get reflected in Broadway or, larger theaters.
My answer is going to be a musical as well, but it's going to be kind of a biased answer. Well, totally biased because it's seeing my son in Rocky Horror and him playing the part of Brad. And it just was an incredible experience. Of course, I'm his dad. Of course, I'm going to love it no matter what. But he was just so great in that role. And he sang and acted so well. And the whole production was just really amazing. I admit I saw it twice and I basically cried the whole first show just out of pride and like happiness for him and joy that he was part of this and found his people and all of that. So it was just, it was a great experience this year.
I love that. I love that proud parent moment. Thanks, Brian.
Mine's mural related. While I was working on the Shawnee Sunrise mural this year, the entire sky was a fully new experience for me because typically all of my murals are incredibly designed out, highly detailed, and the sky did not show up in the projections whenever we projected the detailed design because of atmospheric light and traffic lights at an intersection and a number of things. And so I ended up just freehanding and painting all of the sky in just on the wall. And nothing drawn in, just me painting. I had also never really color blended on the wall as I've painted either. And so between those two things, the entire sky, which is about 2/3 of that mural, was a completely new experience, completely new application for me personally. And I didn't enjoy it or like it at the time. And I still felt like I could immediately see all of the detail and all of the things within the blends that I didn't like until 2 months later, whenever I came back and looked at it for the first time with fresh eyes, and I couldn't see any of those details that bothered me before. And all of the blends looked good, and the sky looked like this beautiful unified thing. And that moment, coming back to see it two months later, having not seen it, was what was so refreshing for me.
Josh, I love that moment of personal growth for you over this last year. That's really great. And I love that piece personally. I know it was a challenge and you had to go through a lot to make it happen, but I think it's a beautiful piece. So congratulations. Kevin, what about you?
In Edinburgh, we saw this show called Mary, a Gig Theater, which was about Mary, Queen of Scots. And it was a show performed by a band that had a little bit of dialogue in it. It wasn't a perfect show by any means, but it was unique in its take and the way that they told the story. And so it's just been something that I've been thinking a lot about and ended up talking more and more about. So I think probably that piece. I have two things. And one I just had this realization coming off of the weekend. I was just in Muskegon for the weekend, seeing friends and family. And I saw Muskegon Civic Theater perform Bright Star, the Steve Martin, Edie Brickell musical. And, I knew a little bit about it, but had not really listened to the music, didn't know anything about the plot. And it was beautiful. And I was really impressed by the production. This is local community theater. And I was just reflecting on, I saw a lot of new theater this year between maybe Happy Ending and Suffs and Bright Star and a few other things. And I love that we can still be surprised, Danielle, sort of to your point, be surprised by new work and find joy in new work and walk into something having no expectations of what it is and walk away feeling inspired or overjoyed or, having a new rush of emotion. So I'm really grateful for that. And then I think one of my favorite moments of the year was Leo and I were flying back from New York in June, and we were walking through the terminal at the Newark airport. And they have, airports have pianos out that people can play, or they have professional pianists that come in. And there were two guys, probably 18, 19 years old, in their Nike tracksuits or whatever, jamming on the piano in the terminal. And just they were just having the best time. And if you had just looked at them, walking through the terminal, you would not expect them to be musicians or artists, right? They just didn't have that sense about them, but I watched them walk up to the piano and just start playing, and they had a great time.
they're having a great time. So I don't know, it's just a moment that really like reminds me when I think about it that like art can come from anywhere and you can find space for self-expression at any moment, at any time. And in a time that's so hard and dark and sometimes depressing, like I think back to that and I find a lot of joy, and it has stuck with me through most of this year. So we've just reflected on 2025, moving into our new year. How are you thinking about resilience as we move forward? It's been a tough year. How are we thinking about resilience? What are you looking for? How are you going to move forward? What are your hopes for 2026?
Yeah, Katie, I can't pretend like this hasn't been a tough year. it just has, right? And I think for me to have that resilience or that like spark of just like, how are we going to move forward? I've been concentrating like really hard in professional, personal, and all the different ways of like focusing on building a foundation, and like rather than trying to like reach for extra or new or things this year, I've been trying to like really focus on like what we already have, and like how are we going to make what we have better, and how can we sort of do the things that we have in a better way, and it kind of comes from like this feeling of not wanting all of our like human to human elements being like caught up in like commercialization, and like you need an app to like communicate with different people on different things, you know, and like just wanting to unplug and like go touch grass, right? And like do all of those like foundational things that we know are good for us, but it's like hard to remember to keep doing them when everything is so fast and is changing all the time. So I feel like I've been trying to just like step back, take a breath, like be grateful for everyone around me and for everything that we're doing. And, you know, kind of really see that as building little foundations kind of everywhere to at some point jump off of.
I too am looking forward to jumping off of things in the new year. I'm going to counter Danielle, and I am going to pretend like everything's been great for the year. That's not true at all. Sales have been very slow throughout all of the fall. It's been a really challenging fall as far as ticket sales and revenue from that. Our rentals have been fine, and so that income has helped a little bit. But as far as the actual shows, ticket sales have been really hard. There's a lot to kind of balance out and weigh here. Looking forward, is one of the contrasts that I've seen is that shows that we would get some decent, you know, a few hundred in ticket sales for before, like a half house for before. I'm really struggling to get that crowd for those same shows, those same type of shows. And I question if some of it is because with the names that we're bringing in, whenever we're bringing in names, people are spending their money on that. And there's less to go around to buy tickets for additional shows right now. Between tariffs and healthcare and any other politically applied pressures to our economy currently, it's a much harder time for people to spend money outside of the things that they need for their family right now, or for themselves for that matter.
So how are you going to shift, or what's your strategy for working your way through that, Josh? Like what are you thinking about for next year?
I mean, honestly, I'm not going to stop bringing that stuff into our community. The question is finding funding to support that whenever the ticket sales aren't going to be there. And so that's the part that I still have to figure out. But alternative funding sources is going to be a big part of it.
Kevin, how are you thinking about resilience for 2026?
You know, I don't think that I am, to be honest. I mean, I think that, you know, we talked a lot about this past year, about the challenges our industry has faced and the challenges that, you know, it's going to continue to face. Josh has touched on a lot of those points. I mean, we could have a whole nother topic about that. I think what I'm focusing on is, you know, the things that are in my control. Similar to what Josh is focusing on, you know, looking at the different funding sources. What I'm looking at is, you know, how do we respond to the needs of our community? How do we respond to when we hear things like we're outpricing teachers and students to go see shows? How do we balance that out? And where does that funding come from? Or how do we structure our deals better so that we can lower some ticket prices or put them in maybe in some larger venues so that we can balance those things out? But mostly just focusing on the positive side of that. And, being very thankful for where I'm at, being thankful for the new career that I've been in or a new portion of my career that I've been in for a year now. And, building on what we've done over this past year and not letting current policy, current economy, tear that down or tear me down.
You all know that I started this campaign to get an arts and health initiative going in my community, and it's actually getting some legs and some excitement around it. And so I'm trying to focus on the positive things that can do, not just the program itself, but just working together and bringing collaborators together to figure out what this could be. Because even whether it becomes something big or not, as I'm picturing in my mind, the fact that we're all like sitting together and working together, where previously a lot of people had silos up or they just saw each other as competitors. So, I mean, just the good that I'm seeing of it, where we're breaking those down already through this arts and health initiative work that I'm trying to put out there. It's exciting to see, that we're actually becoming more collaborative as a community. Katie, you got one for us?
I am thinking about in 2026 coming to an understanding as an industry that our solutions don't have to be perfect, and it's in the trying that we continue to move forward. And this is going to sound really silly, but in this last year I rewatched the Disney documentary about the making of Frozen 2, and if you've watched it, a couple of the episodes really focus on the trouble that the artistic team had in pulling together some of the music, and they had to go back to the drawing board many times to get the big crescendo song of the movie right, and go through many iterations. And that was a very stressful but also collaborative and beautiful process. And I just sort of watching that story and now a couple of times has just made me think about our strength is in the process, and our strength is in the collaboration, and our strength is like pushing through those things. And it does not have to be perfect the first time around. And if we're always looking for the perfect solution the first time, we will fail. So I'm really hoping in 2026 we can just be brave enough to try some things, and even if they don't work the first time or they're not perfect the first time around, we have the wherewithal to keep going and to keep supporting each other through that process, because it is going to continue to be difficult. So if you haven't watched it, highly recommend. And I'm just hoping that we can all just continue this trajectory of like really supporting each other and being collaborative in our problem solving for 2026.
Katie, I love it. Our solution doesn't have to be perfect. That is going to be my motto going forward. Nice work.
All right, friends. So as we wrap and we head into 2026, all of us here at No Business Like just want to thank you again for spending time with us every single week. Our audience, our friends out there, you're the reason that we do this, and we are so grateful for you. We are grateful for the time you spend with us listening. We're grateful to our guests for the time they spend talking to us, the ideas that you send us, the conversations we have offline with all of you. We are grateful for you. Happy 2026, everyone. We hope you have a safe, wonderful New Year's, and we'll see you soon.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening to There's No Business Like. Our producers and hosts are Brian Zelmer, Josh Benson, Kevin Maynard, Katie Miller, and me, Danielle Van Hook. Views expressed in this podcast are ours alone and are not reflective of the organizations we are a part of. Keep up with us at nobusinesslike.com. There you'll find links to all of our episodes and socials. If you like this podcast, give us a like, a follow, a review, or our favorite, a 5-star rating. Oh, wait, what was that site? I got it, don't worry. It is nobusinesslike.com. Do I sound out bus-I-ness every time I type it? Yep, sure do. Stay in touch, my friends.
I'm feeling very low energy. I'm so worn out and burned out.
All right, shake it out.
Same.
Octopus arms. Stretch it out.
I might throw out my back if I do that.
Get some energy, Brian. All right. Okay.
I don't see a lot of octopuses on here.
That the cherry drops, just like the crystal ball in New York, and so
Cherry pops right at midnight.
How is Michigan like equal parts wholesome and wildly inappropriate at the same time?
Josh makes it inappropriate. I don't make it inappropriate.
I've never been there. Sorry, that was all you.
And then I'm gonna buy a plane ticket to DC, and I'm gonna drive over to the Alden in McLean, Virginia, and push Danielle down some stairs. Resilience.
See, what I was hearing is Kevin's not going to let any of that tear him down. He has us for that.
Yeah, that's why I continue to show up for these things.
Believe it when I see it.
Let's do this.
Kevin, what did you draw on your board?
Our solution doesn't have to be perfect.
Oh, look at that, Katie. You gave him a quote.
Look at that.
Happy New Year.
Bye.